Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to create a shark text. The shark text effect basically, if you go on the internet, there are lots of pictures that represent that. I'm going to show you how we can do a shark effect with text. Yeah, basically. So let's look at this. Let's open our Coreldraw. We're going to use Coreldraw for this because it's obviously a vector editing program. So yeah, it works perfectly for what we're trying to achieve. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create a new document and I'm going to name it shark. This is very popular on the internet actually. A lot of people have done this like tutorials. I don't mean tutorials, they've done like designs, shark, text designs where each the shape of the text kind of like models the shape of the animal. So it's a popular thing on the internet, but I just want to create it today so we can see how it's created. So if you're gonna name the document shark, you can leave it as RGB one page, and then you can set your page size to. We don't need something big, so A5 is okay. You could even set a custom page size. It could be like a square or something. And you can use inches. I like to work with inches, and you can leave the resolution as 300 dpi. It doesn't affect it now. And say okay. So once you've done this, you've created a new document and yeah, you have a shark. So the first thing we want to do is type our text out. So we're going to use the shark actually. So click on your text tool here, which I've already done, and click somewhere on your document and just with your caps lock on, you can press SHARK. You can spell out shark, right? Just drag it out a bit to make it bigger. This is what we have here. Now I'm going to switch this. I'm going to use a font that is going to be really hard. Arial will be nice. Arial bold will be nicer, but let's just see if we can see something that feels a bit different. So it looks like we worked a bit. So if I click on my text, yeah, I think, wow, okay. I think Code Pro bold is nice. Yeah, it feels very nice. So I'm going to use it. It feels nice and solid, and the K kind of has this, which we'll explain later. It kind of like looks like a tail already if you're looking at it. So I don't know, it feels nice. I like to close up my text. So in this case, I don't really think it matters, but just to make it feel a bit more solid. Yeah, just close it up. So now we need to get our shark image. For me, I'm going to get a vector silhouette. I'm going to get a vector silhouette. It's called silhouette, right? I'm going to get a vector silhouette for this image. I'm going to get it from my pictures folder. I think I already have that. It should be this thing called images. So I'm just going to click and drag it into Coreldraw and drop it there. And then I'll bring it to the center here. Now this image is a raster image. That means in Coreldraw it's called bitmaps. So it's a bitmap or a raster image, which means it's made up of pixels. So we want to convert it to vectors, so a shape, right? It's made up of lines and curves. And to do that, we have to select it first, then go to the properties bar here, click on trace bitmap and do quick trace. Now we are using quick trace because you can see the image is on the black shark is against the white background, so it's easy and it has very distinct edges, so it's easy to trace it out very fast. So we don't need to use any of the other dedicated methods. We'll just stick to the most basic method, which is quick trace. So when we click on quick trace, it's going to help us. See, it's already done. So it has converted the whole shape or the whole object to vectors. So we'll delete the original one, will remain, but we'll have to delete it. And then for this one, you can see when I drag it, you can see that it has a couple of objects that are with it. There's a white background and there is this black text here, and then this shark image. So everything is grouped together. So we'll go back to the properties bar and click on ungroup all, and then to ungroup everything. So we can click on this white background that we can see and delete it, and then select all these things at the bottom here. They are not necessary, we'll delete them. We only need this shark image and we have gotten that. So okay, yeah, so now we have our shark. Now for this effect I'm going to apply, I'll need to do two things. First, I'll need to flip the shark to the other way. So selecting the shark, you can go to the properties bar and click on mirror horizontally, or you could just click here and hold control and drag it to the opposite end and it will flip it the other direction. So with this created, I want to remove the fill from the shark and just give it an outline so that we can see the edges of the fish. So to do that, I'll just come over to this place, right click on black to give it a black outline, and then left click on this red slant here to remove the fill. So I'll do that here. Now, but there's one thing that I feel like I should do. I want to have the mouth of the shark open. So I'm just going to do a shape. I'm just going to use my line tools. I'll come to freehand tools here, and I'll click on the small arrow here. And I'll use polyline. Polyline gives you the ability to draw till you're done drawing, like, till you're done, and then you tell it to stop. But freehand, on the other hand, just stops at one segment. So for polyline, I'll click here, then click inside, then click outside again, then join it back to make a triangle. And this is going to be the hole on the mouth for the shark. So I'm going to trim out this triangle from this shape. Now, in Coreldraw, when you create objects, the last object you create, or the more recent objects, they stay on top. Which means if I give this a color, if I select this one and give it like a green color, it's going to be on top of the shark image. Can you see that? Now, the reason I'm explaining this is because I want to do something. I'm going to trim out this shape from the shark. So selecting this one, I'll hold shift. I'll select the shark, holding shift, so both of them become selected. When you want to multiple select or multi-select objects, click on the first one, then hold shift and select the others. That way every object is selected. So now I've selected this guy and the shark, the triangle and the shark. So the next thing I want to do is there are a couple of options that will appear on the properties bar. I need to use the back minus front option because we want to keep the back shape. We want to keep the back shape minus the areas that the front shape has touched and the front shape itself. So since the green is the front shape and then the shark is the back shape, if you select both of them, it doesn't matter in what order you select it. So far you select both of them. If you use back minus front, everything goes off from the front. So if I click on that, or I go to object and go to shaping, and then you see the back minus front, it takes away the front shape as well as the area it has touched. So yeah, the shark now has an open mouth, which is like something I really want to have. So far this is awesome. So the next thing we want to do here is we want to fit the shape. We want to now shape this text to look like this shark. And there is there's one thing we are going to do once we start shaping whole objects. The best tool to use is called the envelope tool. You can find it directly under the shadow tool, the drop shadow tool. It's called the envelope. So you select it. Once you select it, you notice there are like a couple of nodes that appear around the object to control the entire object. Now the shape tool, the envelope tool works like the shape tool, but the difference is that while the shape tool actually works on the actual nodes of the object, the envelope tool creates its own set of nodes around the object to shape the object, right? So in this case, we need the envelope tool because we want to have it to work around the whole object. So once you've created the envelope tool, if you grab on any of the node and twist it, you're going to see the way it's going to affect the entire shape, right? So this is what we are going to be using, something like this. So you can see with this, you can actually stretch out the text and you have funny shapes, create a bottle shape and the rest of them. But this is not what we want to do now. So we are going to clear the envelope field and then we're going to select the envelope again. And now instead of applying it like this, we are going to go to the properties bar where the envelope tools options are. And then we are going to click on this tool called create envelope from. And when you use this, all you need to do is select a shape that you want this text to fit in and to fit in. So select this and then come down to the shark and click on it, and there you see it actually twists the shark, the text into a splitting image of the shark. Well, this could be a splitting image right now, even though it looks pretty ras, if I may say myself. It looks pretty ras, doesn't look really perfect, but you can see it did an okay job of trying to emulate the shark. Now, a couple of pros and cons. This is one of the cons. Sometimes the shape, the text might not give exactly, or might not fit in exactly the way you want. Like it might not look exactly the way you want. It be preserved. in this case, a lot of the text are shaky and wavy and putty. Like here, it's putty, right? So it doesn't look at this place. So it doesn't really give us exactly what we want or what we would want. So how do we tweak it to give us exactly what we want? Well, I think I can deduce one method from here. Let us try one method. So we are going to select this shout and select the envelope tool. This is a non-destructive effect, which means we can always recover our text back. So we clear the envelope and have our shack remain the way it was originally, right? So at this point, I think I have I think in my head I'm feeling that we should divide the sharp shape itself into 5 parts, and then also divide this text into 5 letters, this whole word into 5 letters, and fit each letter individually. That way it's going to have more control over the text and more control over the region. And to do that, we need to split this shape into 5 parts. I can't think of a better shape to I can't think of a better tool to use in splitting this than the knife tool, right? So we can use the knife tool. In this case, to use that knife tool, I think we'll have to bring back some things. Let's go do something. So to use the knife tool, move over to the side of the tools, and under the crop tool, I think if you click on the tiny arrow, you see the knife tool. So you select it. Now for our knife tool, before we start applying it, we need to check out some things at the top. First of all, ensure that it's on 2-point line mode so that you can easily draw a straight line, because we're going to be splitting it with straight lines. So yeah, it should be there. Second thing you want to note is you want to make sure that auto close on cut is checked. Now, what the auto close on cut does is when you use this, if you slice a shape into two, it's going to close them up instead of leaving them open. And what we call open shapes in Coreldraw is lines or lines. We call them lines. What we call closed shapes are shapes, right? So basically, we need shapes for this to work, not lines. So I'm going to use this option, and then now we can start. So click here and drag. That's we're using the 2-point line, so which means we have to click and drag. So click along one part. You can start from outside now and drag down. So here I'm going to split. This is for my S. Now I'm going to click. Now I'm going to also click and drag down here for the H. It should be for the H. I don't know if it worked, so I'll just have to do it again. Yeah, it didn't work. So select it again, and for the H, I'm going to let's just, since our A is going to be here, let's drag it like this. Yeah, and then for the A, select this other one. For the A, we're going to slant from outside here like this. And then for the R, I think we are going to slant it somewhere here. I don't know. I just feel like here. Yeah. So this last one is the K. So now we have 5 shapes. You see, we actually sliced it into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each of these 5 areas will hold each of these text. So I'm going to break this text apart now. Press Ctrl K, or you could go to Object, and under Object go to Break Shark Apart, right? So I'll select the first text. I'll use the envelope tool on it, and then I'll just pick. Let's test something out. Let's use straight lines, and then let's say fit to this place. Okay, so this is what it does. I don't like it, so let's do it again. Let's not use straight lines. Just make sure it's on anything it can be original. And fit it to this, and let's select this one now. Fit it to this. Let's see horizontal. Let's see vertical. Okay, vertical looks quite cool. Let's see putty. Putty looks cool. Let's see this one. Let's see vertical. No. Let's see horizontal. Okay, horizontal looks cool. So I'm testing out the different modes. And let's see the A now. Let's fit it into this place. Let's not try horizontal. Let's use original now. Let's use putty. And let's use vertical. Vertical looks like the best bet. They all look funny, but they all look funny, but vertical looks like the best. Let's try the R for this, and let's fit the R to this place. It looks cool. And let's try the, okay, still change it to see the 40. I think 42 looks cool. Let's try K for the tail, and let's fit it to this place. And yeah, looks pretty cool. Like you don't have to touch it. So for all this that we have here, let's just grab them all and try to fit them. So bring this one down here and see. Bring this one here and see. Bring this here and see. This doesn't really look. Bring this R here and bring the K down here and see. So yeah, the only text that looks out of place is the A, in a way. So we are going to see how we can shape that A again to really follow. So to do that, I think we're just going to. No, I don't think I want to select these things and hold shift and set them down. Select hold shift and send them down. I'm selecting the boxes and holding shift, paging them down, shift page down so that I will have the text in front. So I'll select this text. I think this A is my problem right now. Now, if it gets too hard for you, you call up the real shape tool, right? We've used the envelope, and the envelope has done a pretty good job of trying to fit this shape into the text. Now, if you really need more perfection, we are going to have to destroy some of the text and rework them. So something like this one, or we could actually do a manual working on it as well. So let's see if we can do something manual. We could grab this and raise it up a bit. We could grab this corner and twist it out. So let's see how the manual works. Yeah, and then this bottom side we could bend it out. It's not really giving me what I would want. Personally, I would want to use the real shape too. So let's try that. So let's press Ctrl Q. That is to destroy this text. So we've destroyed this text, and now we could bend it to our bidding, to our liking, using the shape tool. So for the shape tool now, all we just need to do is drag the nodes themselves. You see, you could drag the nodes themselves, and then it could give you that exact shape. This time around, you don't have to try to force the whole shape to fit. You actually make it fit yourself. So you bend them till they sit right. So we have this. For the top area here, you will just move your mouse here and move your cursor control here, and you see that you will remove any stubborn node or any node that doesn't look like it's going to stay, and work the rest. Now this is a smooth node, and because of that it's giving us issues because it's trying to maintain the curve. So we want to create a node that doesn't care about the curve. So click here, go to the properties bar, switch it from smooth to cusp, and now we can bend this part in without stress, and then grab this other one at the end and move it here, and move this like this, and yeah, so you can see we've done a pretty good job of creating the A that fits into that shape, right? So you can see that we have, and I think I want to bend this up a bit. So you see, with this we're able to create the A, and maybe we'll have to shift the H a little bit so we can see the A. And then, like I said, if the shape needs working on, if you feel that it needs to be worked on, if you feel it that it needs to be worked on, then you could just Ctrl Q and make the effects more permanent and destroy the text as well. And then you can start rearranging, reshaping, restructuring the whole object to get the exact shape of that line that you want. Now, but mind you, you need the envelope tool to give you like a round or a skeletal feel first of all, so that it will help you with the initial arrangement of the shape, and then you can now continue with it. Otherwise, it's going to be a very stressful journey for you. So I rather use the envelope tool to work out the basics, to select the shape I want to model my text or my other objects on. And then after that, I can now use the regular shape tool, Control Q, to work the rest of the text into place, so it gets easier. Now in this case, I'm going to remove all these parts. I'm going to take it down to this place, and I'm going to twist this out like this. Take this one up, and this is also a smooth node, so I will convert this to a cusp and bend this inside, and then take this here, and here I'm going to remove the extras. You can see just how well it's sitting with the shape right now. And for this part, I'm just going to take this inside, take this one inside rather, and yeah, you see how this S is kind of like working out for us. So I'm going to keep here, and if I really want this to straighten out, I'm going to maybe turn this place to a line, maybe a line, and then probably drag it out here. Trying to see how I can get something that fits. So here I'm going to turn this to a curve, and I'll drag this to the tip here, and make sure it's a cusp node, and then I'll bend this part. If I am trying to be very accurate, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the shape tool to work it out till I get all the details. I'm not going to do all this. That's not the idea. The idea is to show you how to use the envelope tool, but this is you trying to fine-tune it till you get to the exact point you would rather want it to be at. So when the nodes are redundant, you take them out. If you know that they are extras, you take them out. You don't need all that much nodes to control this whole shape. So you remove some nodes, you add some, like here. I'm going to take them out. So you can see I'll take this one out too, because from here to here you control the whole shape. So you can see how this S works, right? So you can see the S, the H, you can see how they all work. And to give me what I want, I could turn this area here to a line by right clicking and saying to line, and then so yeah, you can see how this whole thing works out for us. If you feel the need to add more or turn this to a line, you do that. Yeah, if you feel the need, turn this to a line, and you can make this a 3 point whatever like this. Everything works eventually. So far you keep tweaking that thing, you're going to get exactly the text. So I think I'm going to work a little bit more till I achieve this whole shape. I'm going to work a little bit more. So yeah, you can see the A looks pretty. It looks pretty. And then this other R, I think this one did an almost excellent job. So, but you can still do Control Q, convert it to curve, grab this arrow to touch here, make this a straight line by removing any nodes and just converting it into a line. And yeah, that's about that. Drag it all the way down here to touch this place, and move this in to follow the shape. And yeah, you can bring this one here probably, and turn this whole thing here to, or leave it this way, it doesn't have to be a line. And then yeah, excuse me, excuse me. So yeah, this is pretty much it. So we could take this one, so take this one here, remove it, take this one, remove it, put this one here, and yes, you can see how the arrow sits perfectly. And yeah, it looks like we have our arrow shaped out already. So the K, we do the same thing to it. We could have the K, we could have the K, we could have the K. We do Control Q2, and who knows, maybe we just push this out a little bit, take out this part, and make it touch the edge, and bring this one out here like this. And yeah, bring this one out here. Probably don't have to do so much on the K, just leave it the way it is for now. and yeah, I think it looks cool. It looks cool. We could make it a bit more solid if we wanted. Make sure this is a line. Yeah, and then grab this one out. Do the same thing here. Make sure it's a line here. Let's click and say it's a line, and that's it. Bend this in, and yeah, we are good. So this is us. This is where we end it. This is where everything kind of ends, and we decide to bend this one in and maybe make this straight to a line. Move this one, bend this one here, and maybe turn this to a line as well. My voice has dropped, right? It's concentration. So yeah, I think this should do it for us. So let's select the text as S, Shift H, Shift A, R, and K, and then pull them out. And you can see we have a pretty good text for shark. Right, you can see we have a pretty stable text for the shark. Yeah. So this looks really shark-like, and I think it looks convincing. I feel like it looks convincing. So this is our shark tutorial using the envelope tool and the shape tool. Just to do a quick recap, what we did here was, first of all, we created our document, then we typed our shark text. We picked the right fonts for it. Basically there are no right fonts, but just use something that works for you. And then we imported our shark image, which was a raster image, and we were able to vectorize it and convert the raster or bitmaps to a simple vector shape and extracted the shark image or the shark vector from the shape. And then after that, we removed the fill for the shark object, and we gave it just an outline like this. No fill, no black fill, just a black outline. And after that, we converted, we selected our text and used our envelope tool to pick out the shape that we want, which is a shark shape, to apply on the text. We did that method, and it gave us a result that we didn't really like. So we went back a bit, and then we decided to divide or split the shark image into 5 for the 5 different texts that we have. And as we split it using the knife tool to slice through the shapes, we're now able to we now broke apart the text using Ctrl K. We broke the S, H, A, R, K, so they all stayed away from each other basically. So we grabbed each of them and fit them using the same process, the envelope tool, and fitting them to each of these shapes. And after that, we didn't really get an exact replica of it, so we had to now use the dedicated shape tool, which is the one that actually works on the nodes directly of the shape itself. So we converted all this to curves, destroyed all the text, and turned them to ordinary objects by pressing Ctrl Q, and then we use the shape tool to manually twist and turn till we were able to manipulate them into fitting this, and this we arrived at this. So that's it, folks. If you really like this tutorial, do leave a thumbs up and drop a comment. You can as well make a request. I am very much open for requests on what tutorials I should cover next, and what software I could use to do that. And yes, if I go through your comments and I see one that I like, I'm definitely going to see one that I like. I'm going to attempt that one next. So till next time, guys. All right.